Hey everybody, how are you? I hope you are having a wonderful day today. We are doing our member spotlight today, which is something that we do every single Wednesday. Oh, my lighting looks weird all of a sudden. That's weird. There we go. And we are just back from H&H Americas last week in Chicago, which was a total whirlwind and so much fun. Today we're going to be talking to Jennifer Priest from Smart Creative Social. And Jennifer industry for a very long time and has done a whole lot of different things, including some Pinterest marketing expertise and a whole lot of other things. And I'm very excited to speak with her. Hey, Jennifer.
Hey, I guess it doesn't like Bluetooth, huh? Let's
No,
turn that
in
on.
my experience, it doesn't. It just likes the regular mic in your in your phone. How are you?
Good. How are you? Nice to see you guys.
Yeah, nice to see you as well. I'm not really sure we've ever maybe we have. Oh, I guess you've done some event like a webinar for us and things like that. But I was just gonna say I'm not sure
Yeah,
we've ever had a chance to just sit down and chat. So it's really nice to see
not
you.
really. Yeah, you
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. So Jennifer, I was just saying before you came on that you've been in the industry for a very long time and that you wear many hats and have done a lot of different things. So maybe you can kind of give us a
Yeah.
little overview of the different things that you've done in the industry and sort of what you're doing now.
Okay, so way back when I got started, well, actually, when I was a kid, I had my first craft fair. I got started doing jewelry. And then in my early 20s, I became a mom. I started scrapbooking. I started doing that as a business, doing MLM, all that kind of stuff, teaching classes at stores. Then once I was teaching at a pretty big store, I transitioned to teaching at multiple stores. And that same year, that was 2007, I started an Etsy shop, a blog. I'd only been doing email marketing. And a couple years after that, people had kept asking me for help with social media, their blog, etc. And I was only doing it myself to market myself. And I got my first corporate client and I started teaching business classes, how to do social media, how to do marketing, how to get traffic, how to blog. And then my blog had been just for my own business, right? To promote my classes. I had a membership, like a subscription box club. I had a huge Etsy shop with tons of stuff in it. I also did craft fairs. And in 2013 or so, I had a discussion with Kathy Conamario,
Oh
Crafty
yeah.
Chica.
Yeah.
And she was
Love
like, why
that.
aren't you monetized with ads? And I was like, what are you talking about? And so I started working with sponsors and got ads on my blog. And that's how I really went all in on Pinterest,
Right.
was to get traffic. And during this time, I was also on design teams for companies,
Mhm.
doing sponsored work for companies, helping them develop their influencer programs, running their design teams in the craft industry, and also doing consulting and social media management. And in 2019, I retired from all social media management, which is great. I love it. I'm not touching anybody's accounts anymore. And just doing teaching, coaching, and mentoring full time. I still blog. I still work with companies. I'm currently a brand ambassador for Cricut and for Adobe Express. I'm really active with Adobe Express. And uh, I'm also teaching and coaching. I do high level business coaching and also, teaching how to get traffic with Pinterest, how to use social media, that kind of thing too.
That's
Yeah.
great. So you're a great resource for people. And I want to focus a little bit on Pinterest because Pinterest is kind of its own beast. It's not the same as Instagram and Facebook. It's not quite the same as Google, although it is a visual search engine. It has changed a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of updates and changes that you have to keep up with to do well on Pinterest, including the size of the images, the types of pins you're creating, etc. So maybe you can give us some Pinterest tips for craft business owners who might be tuning in today and are hoping to improve their Pinterest presence or set some Pinterest goals for the coming months.
So I think one of the biggest things you kind of touched on it with some of the things that you said, and I had a conversation in my free group this morning. We have a little chat going on. You know how in Facebook groups you can have those chats. And one of the things that I think people focus on is outdated information, right? And really an outdated lens to look at it through. And I know that's happening when they ask questions like, well, what size are my pins supposed to be? what do I have to do to make it go viral? How long do I have to wait? How many pins? How many boards? How many can I do a day? Those are all like the wrong questions.
Okay.
Though those are the questions that we've been conditioned to ask and focus on because that's what we've experienced and that's what we see across the board in all the Facebook groups. And so really it's looking at, like, I like people to go big picture. And maybe this is because I'm more of a big picture person. But once you have the big picture, you can go down into the details. So with Pinterest, along with any other platform, there's two things that are important.
Okay.
The first one is the mission, and the second one is how they're monetized. How do they make money?
Okay.
So the mission of Pinterest is to help people discover and try new ideas. Now, like you said, they change all the time. They change it all the time. I usually just go on, well, Google doesn't work so good these days. I go on some search engine that works and look for Pinterest's current mission and see, okay, what is it that's important to them
Right.
now?
Because they're expressing that in that statement. And so you should align with their statement of what they find to be most important. Right. I think that's a really good idea. Yeah.
Well, and it gives you
Right.
insight, right? Okay, this is what's important to them. How do I need to show up, right? Whether that's a pin or a video or whatever.
Right.
How do I need to show up so that it aligns with what's important to them?
Right.
So that's the first thing. And then the second thing, and with Pinterest, it's built for discovery. It's built to send people off platform. Like unlike any other platform, every pin has a space for a link. You don't get diminished reach if it doesn't have a link.
Right.
Right. So that's where it's so different than Instagram or Facebook. Like you want to kill a Facebook post, stick a link on there. Like it's just going to kill it. So the second part is monetization. The way that Pinterest is monetized is like every other platform on a high level, which is they're monetized with ads. And because they're monetized with ads, that means that they need to keep people coming back to the platform often and staying on as long as possible, right? The more they visit and the longer they stay, the more ads they're going to see.
Right.
Now, if the whole feed was ads, people would never come back, right? We've all experienced that. We've been on Facebook or Instagram or something and been like, the whole feed's ads today. I'm going to go somewhere else, right?
Yeah, I've done it. Yep.
Yeah. And so it's so funny when people are like, it's pay for play. I was like, if it was, it would all be ads, but that's not true. So because they have ads, in order to have a good user experience, they have to have other stuff that's going to keep people on the platform and keep them coming back. So why not your stuff, right? The stuff that they put between the ads, if it's high quality organic content that aligns with their mission and gives a good user experience, they're going to stick it between the ads. Is that making sense?
Totally makes sense. And so you can create those pins that are going to keep people on Pinterest and give them the visual information that they're searching for or hoping to find or will inspire them. So, okay, that's great. I think that that's really helpful. Any tips on visuals? Like I know there was a whole sort of push. Do we put text overlay on the photo, not on the photo? Story pins, video, all of that. So when it comes to creating the pins themselves, whether you're using Canva or Adobe Express or some other program, what should the pins look like?
So I love that you asked this question. So there's a few things here. People will sell what they call optimized pin templates. Like this is the template that's going to perform on every search, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there's no such thing. Like I have pin templates I sell and give away, but there's no such thing as a pin template that's going to work for everything across the board. So with Pinterest, there's 3 places where pins can show up. It's in your home feed, right, which is kind of tuned to what you engage with, what Pinterest thinks you're interested in. So that's unique to every single person. We can't replicate that. Then there's more like this, which is, or similar pins or pins like this. They've changed the name a couple times. But basically, if you open a pin and then you go up, underneath are more pins, right? Because Pinterest is like, well, that one didn't really answer what you wanted, so let's give you some other ideas.
Yeah, you're looking for like jeans with sashiko stitching as visible mending. you find one that you like and you're like, oh, I want more that's going to look like this because I'm trying to get inspiration from my forthcoming project. So you can get that, and then there are more jeans that are similar will appear, hopefully.
Yeah, so there you can get a little insight as to what your competition is doing. And then the best place where you can get insight as to how to visually make your pins so that they stand out and to see where they're going to show up is in search. And so that's the third place that pins can show up. So you'll go and search and type in like the keywords that you were just sharing and see what comes up. Now, if you're logged into your Pinterest account, it's going to show it based on you. So
Right.
you want to do this in an incognito window or logged out. That way
Because
you
this
can
is
see
this is
what
how
everyone sees.
you're doing market research or research, consumer research, to
Mm-hmm.
try to get a sense of what is showing now
Mm-hmm.
and where you could kind of fit in and be a little bit different, unique, but still answer that consumer's question.
Right. So here's the thing is people go, well, do I need text overlay or not? It depends what
You're
the other pins are that are going to
right.
be next to your pin, right? And so there's a level of doing it the same as everybody else, right? So it fits in. And there's a level of, and this is where I like to be, is go obnoxious with it. What could you do that would make it absolutely stand out?
Mm.
So an example of that is I had a post called I still have a post called IKEA craft rooms. And when
Yeah,
you
those
search
do really
IKEA
well.
craft rooms,
Yeah.
yeah,
We have a
when you
couple of
search
those and
that,
they do so well, by the way. IKEA like hack content for craft is like really a good topic to write about. Anyway, yes.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, because people love it and, for all kinds of great reasons.
Yeah.
So the search results, as you can imagine, having shops at IKEA are mostly white, right, in color because it's white furniture for the most part. And so I thought, well, what could I do to stand out in this feed? I could make a black pin. And so I not only made the pin black, I just took a picture of the IKEA warehouse, put a black overlay, and then put the words IKEA craft rooms in blue and yellow so they get IKEA mentally. And I'm like, that in the mix of all these rooms would really stand out.
Mm.
So that did great. So then I was like, well, let's go another level of noxious. Let's do lime green. There's no lime green anywhere in the feed. And so I did that and it bombed. And so sometimes, it's going, there's no failure, only feedback. Sometimes it's saying, well, how can I push the envelope and see what works? And sometimes it doesn't and sometimes it does. So what did I learn? I was like, well, I mean, who are they? They're crafters. They probably like pink, right? They probably aren't into lime green. That probably doesn't resonate with them. So I need to pick some colors that would work. The black, why did that work as opposed to the lime green? Well, I think it was the high contrast, right? So we can learn from it. And so when you're designing your pins and you're putting them out there and you're looking at your analytics, did this work? You want to look at what rose to the top, right? What worked and why do you think that worked? What was the reason? What was the difference that made the difference there? And continue to try to do that versus focusing on, somebody saying, well, this needs to have text or doesn't have text.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. And I think people are so searching for an easy solution or a magic bullet. And I think that that
yeah.
applies to so many things, whether it's like Etsy SEO or figuring out Pinterest or the Instagram algorithm or whatever it might be. It's like there's got to be one template or one set of instructions that's going to solve this problem for me. And the reality, too, is that these are organic sort of settings that are constantly shifting and changing because they're used by millions of people all the time, every second. So, you may hear some expert on YouTube say, "Oh, this is the thing. You have to do it this way." But yeah, that might work, or it might not work. But it's not. What really you need to do is see for yourself and trust that you do know your audience and understand your content best and can do this research, and it actually might be kind of fun.
Yeah, and I think it's so funny because when I talk to creative people, they're like, I can't get this stuff, it's too hard. I was like, really? You guys are so creative. So if you just reframe it in the context of like, what do you do with your craft?
Right.
If you were making the same craft as everybody else, no one would buy it. Right? No one would care. And so you put your own spin, your own flavor on it, right? You learn the how it works,
Right. And then
right?
you're like, ooh, what if I took English paper piecing, but then I made it look like crochet or whatever. And now that's
Right.
nobody's done that. So everyone's going to be like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. Exactly. And that's your brilliance.
Yeah, and so you can take that and apply it to not only what you're doing on Pinterest, but on all of your marketing, right? Because that's what innovative marketers do.
Mm-hmm.
They see the way that something is structured, right? Monetization and mission, and then they say, okay, where's the opportunity for me here? Where can I inject novelty? Where can they get real curious? Where can I get the result that I want, stay within the rules, serve my people, and connect to them, and do it my way?
Right.
And so you're doing that with your art, your craft, your making all the time. Now it's just taking that and putting it over here.
In a marketing lens. Exactly. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing this aspect of business is another creative act. And I love that so much. So if some people have tuned in and are like, I already just learned a whole bunch of stuff and I want to keep going with you, how can they get in touch? It sounds like you have a free Facebook group. Are there some other ways for people to sort of get started in working with you?
Oh my gosh, I have tons of stuff. So I've got all kinds of free resources. The best thing would be to message me. This month, I'm in a summit where I'm giving away 1,000 pen templates, a Pinterest training, an automated social media training, like a bunch of stuff, an insane amount of stuff. And so that would be a great thing for them to get their feet wet and get a massive amount of value. So just message me and we can have a conversation. Like I love having conversations with people to find out what is it that you really need. Is there something I have that I can offer to you? Is there somewhere I can point you? And if there's not something I have, then there's someone I can refer you to that has the thing, right? And so I love being of service in that way and getting to know you guys, having those conversations and hearing what are the challenges that you're facing and how can we help move you forward to that goal.
Okay. Okay, super. So message Jennifer, maybe get hooked up with this summit and certainly follow along and, consider getting some training for the future. So this is awesome. I'm so glad you are doing this. You really speak the language of makers, and that's really important also because not everybody who works in the marketing world truly understands handmade and its importance and
I hear you.
what it is that we do. And so it's really important to have somebody who speaks both languages and it has respect and understanding of what people are doing in this world. So I really
I
appreciate that.
appreciate that too. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. You guys are doing great work. And I just loved seeing all the things that Craft Industry Alliance has done to move the industry forward. It's needed and very appreciated.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much. Well, thanks for everybody who joined us today for our member spotlight, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye, Jennifer. Good catching up with you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you.